echoes of old Comiskey Park rang loud and clear yesterday in Game 1. Chicago was abuzz, and so were the White Sox. But Boston has returned from bigger holes than this. Game 2 is on. Coming to you on ESPN in high definition.
Program.
Scorecard program.
Tonight's best ninth-inning team in all of baseball.
The pretenders are gone. Left 8 teams, each feeling they've got a shot to win it all.
30 seconds.
Stand by, guys. Here we go.
This is the moment many of these players have been dreaming about since they first started playing the
Stand by
game.
2.
The White Sox hadn't won a home postseason game since 1959. That's ancient history now. Charging behind their skipper, these new-look White Sox roared out of the gates. Homer after homer after homer, 5 in all, combined with a smooth, smoking Cuban ace on the mound. It was a 14-2 churning of the world champions and a big party on the south side of Chicago. The last time Boston was lambasted like this in the postseason, last October, when the Yankees scored 19 times. The response? The Red Sox are coming. The Red Sox are coming. 8 straight wins, and their first World Series crown in 86 years. Panic today? Don't count on it. Which Sox will leave Chicago with a leg up? White or red? ESPN's coverage of Major League Baseball's Division Series is presented by Budweiser. Welcome to the Cell, U.S. Cellular Field in Chicago for Game 2 of this ALDS between the world champion Boston Red Sox and the team with the best record in the American League, the Chicago White Sox. Hello once again, and welcome to our continuing coverage of postseason baseball here on ESPN. I'm Chris Berman. Boy, yesterday that 14-2 rub out by Chicago was so swift and so complete that Al Capone, if he were here yesterday, would have applauded it. It was that impressive. Joining me now here to call the game, as always, is Rick Sutcliffe. And speaking of guys in pinstripe suits, whoa, Sut, the big names for Boston that were so evident in the end when they had to win their games, and all year. Damon, Ortiz, I know he had a couple of hits. Ramirez, nothing doing. It was pitching as well for Chicago yesterday.
Well, and yesterday the pitching for the Boston Red Sox really all year long has not been as good as it was last year. They know to repeat as world champions, they're going to have to hit. And yesterday, the top of the order simply did not get that done. To me, the key to this series is going to be Manny Ramirez. David Ortiz says that there would be no Big Papi without Manny Ramirez. Boomer, there may not be any more postseason for the Boston Red Sox without Manny's bat.
Well, Manny was, what, 0 for 4 yesterday. The last 3 times he's gone 0 for 4 worse, he's hit a homer the next game. We'll see. Speaking of home runs, boy, the White Sox let it loose. 5 runs in the first inning. A.J. Pierzynski with a 3-run homer. He had a pair. Konerko had a home run. Uribe had a home run. Scott Podsednik, who didn't hit a homer at all in the regular season, had a home run yesterday afternoon for the Chicago White Sox. So, you know, when a catcher hits 2, we had to top that. So we bring in our catcher, Mike Piazza, who many times has hit 2 in a game. Look, 5 home runs, Mike. They can't expect that, the White Sox. What are they looking to do offensively today?
Well, the White Sox came into this series with offensive momentum. There's no question with 5 home runs. But manager Ozzie Guillen said they're not in love with the home run. They'll still utilize small ball to keep the pressure on. They want to keep the offensive pressure on Boston and hopefully go back with two games in the bag.
However they do it, their first inning, like yesterday, has been great all year. 126-68. They've outscored opponents in the first inning. They'll try to do that today. But on the mound for Boston, a man with tremendous postseason success and experience, that would be David Wells. This is the type of game why the Red Sox got him. And opposing him, the starter and winner for the American League in the All-Star game, Mark Buehrle. Both lefties work swiftly. It should be a fine game. In Chicago, another hot, humid, summer-like day. 85 degrees. Humidity still here. A front coming through tonight. This is going to be it for summer after today. But boy, the White Sox hope their bat stays hot. Here's the lineup for Terry Francona. Johnny Damon, the leadoff, of course, as he does so well. Edgar Renteria, the shortstop, hitting second, had a hit yesterday. David Ortiz had a couple of small hits yesterday, hitting third. Manny Ramirez 0 for 4, hits cleanup. Jason Varitek hitting fifth, has a hit yesterday. Trot Nixon hit the ball well yesterday for the Red Sox, hitting sixth in right field. Billy Miller hitting 7th. He's at third base. John Olerud gets the start, the veteran at first base for the Red Sox, hitting 8th. The second baseman, a one-time White Sox, Tony Graffinino, hitting 9th against one of the fine pitchers, or one of the fine team leaders, and the starter and winner, as we said, for the American League in the All-Star game. That would be Mark Buehrle, who came out of the gates big time this year.
16-8 this year, Boomer. 10-2 at home with the American League's best ERA. Talking to catcher A.J. Pierzynski before the game, the reason for that, he says, is because of the crowd. He gets excited pitching at home, having these fans behind him. They're big time behind him tonight.
And when you play defense behind a guy like Buehrle, he's the fastest working pitcher in the major leagues. And it's got to help him. They all, to a man, Mike and Sut, say they love playing defense when he's like this.
Yeah, and they love the defense they saw yesterday, particularly late in the game with that big lead. Aaron Ruin crashing into the wall in left center field, trying to make a play for his pitchers. They love that kid out there. They think that with Torrey Hunter being injured this year, he's the Gold Glove Award winner.
And the Red Sox will try to step out a little bit. But talking to A.J. Pierzynski, Mikey says, hey, he just kind of sits on the mound. Buehrle doesn't laugh. All right, get back in there. Here's the pitch.
Yeah, he definitely works quick. Does not allow the hitter to get into a rhythm. He just machine guns that ball. Rapid fire, grab the ball, throw it back.
We're underway in game number 2 in Chicago, and it's a strike, says home plate umpire Bill Miller. Maybe that'll bode well for the Red Sox third baseman. Bill Miller, the home plate umpire, as well, spelled differently. Look at that, 2 pitches already. Do you think that Carl Lewis was the fastest man on the world? I think it's Buehrle.
I'm glad we're not on the clock tonight.
He's their favorite getaway day pitcher, that's for sure. Damon the other way, and Creedy looked fooled by it. Certainly a fieldable ball for Joe Creedy, whose back's been hurting him, but looked like he was fooled.
Yeah, that's definitely a non-orthodox angle. The ball comes off the bat from a left-handed hitter down the third baseline, and that ball sneaks up on you a little bit.
It really does. And, you know, we've talked many times, Mike, about infielders. The good ones have a clock. They know when to speed up, and they know when to slow down. It was almost like he pulled back there. He should have at least made a diving attempt to knock that ball down, because as shallow as he was, he still could have thrown Johnny Damon out.
Well, it goes a hit. Creedy never got a glove on it. He should have made the play, but never got a glove on it. Now here's Edgar Renteria. Up and into Renteria for a ball. Mark Buehrle came out of the gates this year 10-1 in his first 16 starts. So hello, that's the reason why he started the All-Star game. And among those impressed with Buehrle, and someone who didn't know him very well, was Red Sox manager Terry Francona, who managed the American League. Said, I just love the way he worked. I talked to him on Sunday before. You all right to start? Yes, sir. Give me the ball. I'll go 2 in it. Whatever it is you want. He was very impressed by his professionalism, having met him for the first time, really. Pretty close over there. He's got a great move, doesn't he, guys?
Yeah, left-handed pitcher is obviously going to be able to hold the runner on a little bit more effective than a right-handed pitcher, and that's important. Give your catcher a chance. That's all you ask for is a chance.
Up high to Renteria again, 2-1.
Boomer, you mentioned that All-Star game. The first guy, Bobby Abreu, got a base hit off of Buehrle, but he got the double play ball from Carlos Beltran. The next guy gets a base hit. So like Ozzie Guillen said in our managers meetings, it's almost like when there's men on base, he starts making better pitches.
That was not one of them, and it's 3-1.
He's probably a little pumped up. Obviously, the energy of the crowd, the playoff atmosphere. That's when the catcher has to go out there. The pitching coach has to chip in. Hey, calm down, get your ball down, relax. Subtract off the fastball a little bit. You don't have to throw every pitch 110%.
Ripped by Renteria over Creedy's glove into the corner. Posednik will chase it. Damon into third easily. Double Renteria. Here's the top of the order you talked about, Sut. Second and third, none out.
And Mike, it's a little easier to hit when you know what's coming. He worked the count. He got it into his favor. That's one of those cookies you talked about yesterday.
Room service. Looks like he took a little bit off that pitch and still got it down in the strike zone. But Rennery, as I said yesterday, that slashing, cutting type of swing. Get inside out the pitch. You can pull the ball. And you have a count in your favor. You have several options.
Well, with runners at second and third, we will not see the complete shift against David Ortiz. Although, if you look at, you're saying, what are you talking about? The reason we're saying that is the shortstop Uribe is actually right behind second base yesterday with none on. He was on the second base side of the bag. Still a lot of room left side, and Freedy, well, everything's gone past him at the hot corner tonight so far. He should be ready.
And on this abbreviated shift, the third baseman has to stay close to the runner at third. He's just going to basically stay as far away as the third baseman is from the bag.
Red Sox with an opportunity right away.
Well, a big opportunity for David Ortiz. Even if he makes an out here, his job is to at least get Johnny Damon home and then get Renteria down to third base. You can do that with a ground ball to second.
Swings through that 1-1 pitch, strike two. And the crowd knows who's up too. I mean, this is already, they're into this.
Well, Mike, you've been that guy hitting in this spot many times. He just threw a fastball by you upstairs. What adjustment does Ortiz need to make here?
I just want to make contact, not allow him to either go up the ladder or down out of the strike zone. Just put the bat on the ball. He's giving you a run here.
Strikes him out. What a big strikeout for Buehrle here in the first inning.
Boomer, he did it with two different fastballs. He got the second strike on the four-seamer. And now take a look here. Watch the sinking action to this fastball. Same velocity, but two completely different movements. Both fastballs in, but I mean, that's big-time pitching there.
And what he did is he changed the eye plane of the hitter. You go up in the strike zone, you get his eyes focused up, and then you go back down, and it just gets him kind of seesawing a little bit.
So Manny Ramirez, we told you 0 for 4 yesterday, 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position. He's got 2 of them right here. He rips this one to left field. Back goes Podsednik. He won't get it. It's off the wall. Damon scores. Renteria scores. 2-0 Boston.
Manny came out yesterday aggressive, swinging at the first pitch. And you know what? You stay with your plan. He stayed with it. And got this pitch into the outfield. Situation the manager saying, just give me a ground ball. Give me a run. And Manny was able to put a nice swing on that ball. Didn't try to do too much. Got the barrel of the bat on the ball and wound up with 2 stakes.
It's a good town to get stakes in.
Yeah, it really is. And what a nice cushion for David Wells to have right now. You've got that lead. Even with all the home runs yesterday, he's got that cushion.
Here's Jason Varitek. Now, we talked about it right at the outset, Sut. What a difference 24 hours can make.
Well, and you know what a difference these guys have made the last couple of years. Those 4 guys at the top of the order. Renteria, of course, last year doing it for St. Louis.
Creedy handles that one. Iguchi not in time to double up Varitek, always hustling down the line.
After catching 130+ games, Jason Varitek still hustling down the line.
You know, kind of reminds me of another catcher that I saw play an awful lot. Still playing. You know, I love what Varitek says, and Mike, I heard you say it many, many times. You can't always hit, but you can always hustle. And every now and then you get rewarded, don't you?
Absolutely. Well, he's a lot faster than me, I know that.
I didn't say you were fast. I said you hustled.
All right. I don't think I would have beat that one out.
Trot Nixon had a couple of hits yesterday in game 1. And there for a strike is Buehrle. Nixon and Varitek flop in the lineup because Varitek has had good numbers against Mark Buehrle. It's hard to get good numbers against him. Varitek 9 for 20. So then they go Nixon, then Miller, then Olerud. So right, left here in this situation. Check swing. Buehrle to Konerko. The Red Sox are gone, but not until Manny Ramirez drives in a pair. 2-0 Red Sox heading to the bottom of the first. Beautiful day here in Chicago. Beautiful town on Lake Michigan. Summer-like day, and that's the sight you would see if you're out in the boat. And the White Sox set sail with 14 runs yesterday. Can they do so again? Scott Podsednik will lead it off in left field. Tadahito Iguchi, second base. Jermaine Dye, the right fielder, hitting third. And the big leader of this team offensively and so much in the clubhouse, Paul Konerko, had a homer yesterday hitting cleanup. Carl Everett had a hit yesterday as the DH. Aaron Rowan had a hit yesterday. He's the center fielder. A.J. Persinski was the hitting star with a 3-run and a solo shot and a double. Joe Creedy at third base hitting eighth. Juan Uribe is the shortstop, hit a home run yesterday hitting ninth against the left-hander, making his 26th postseason appearance, 16th start. Another boomer, David Wells.
You know, when you look at his numbers, the ERA, the innings pitched and all that, Boomer, he's not in the top 10 in anything as far as the pitching statistics are concerned. The two places you'll find him, wins and winning percentage, and it gets even better for Boomer in the postseason.
Tell you where else he's in the top 10, least walks. And remember, the White Sox yesterday, they weren't walked, but Matt Clement hit. Before all the homers, he hit 2 batters, and there was a stolen base yesterday. So, Mike, that may be what you talked about in the beginning.
And it's going to be interesting to see, too, Chicago being down early on, how they do chip away. Because I think in order to advance in the playoffs, you do have to come back, and we'll see with the attitude, how the attitude changes when they're down a few runs.
Yeah, yesterday, Mike, you're right, with a man on first, Iguchi, the number 2 guy, laying down a bunt. Well, he hit 15 homers during the season. Will he bunt tonight?
In there for a strike. Now, David Wells works quickly, but, you know, next to Buehrle, it's like coming out of the garage with a parking brake on, you know, but I mean, look, the two of them, this should be a swift moving game. Don't go too far from the set. We've all done that, haven't we? Ripped up the middle. Renteria had him played perfectly. Over to Olerud, 1 down here in the White Sox first. Defensively for the Red Sox, the changes we pointed out from yesterday. Olerud, a good fielding first baseman.
Well, Mike, you know what? You played with him. I mean, what a difference he makes over there, huh?
We used to call him Steady John Olerud. Sweet swinging John. I mean, he's just a presence out there. He's tall as a tree. You can make a bad throw, and you know he's going to catch it. Just gives the infielders a little security blanket, knowing that they don't have to make a perfect throw.
Tadahito Iguchi is up, his first year in the States. He's a Gold Glove and All-Star player in Japanese ball. And we'd like to welcome those of you that have watched Houston go on the road and lay one to Atlanta 10-5. Chris Berman, Rick Sutcliffe, Mike Piazza here with you in Chicago. Coming on is Johnny Damon, and that ball by Iguchi will hang up there long enough. And there are 2 out here in the White Sox first, and those that are just joining us, Manny Ramirez had a 2-run single in the top of the first to give David Wells and the Red Sox a 2-0 lead over Mark Buehrle and the White Sox. Now that ended up at first base. I really was I wrote a double down in my book. I had to erase it, I must admit, but the 2 runs home, 2-0 Boston. Manny being Manny. He turned a double into a single.
I've done that many times as well. First step's the most important.
I think the most important thing for Boston was, you know, Manny and those top 4 guys in the top of the order getting something done tonight that they didn't do yesterday.
Jermaine Dye, the 3rd hitter. First year of the White Sox in his first healthy years we talked about yesterday. In the bigs, I mean, he was such a big player for Oakland, had some postseason experience, came up as a rookie with Atlanta in the series in '96, so he's no stranger to postseason ball, but 31 homers, made a big catch yesterday. He's a good player, especially when healthy.
Great athlete, graceful, got a lot of power. Great outfielder, as we saw yesterday with that beautiful catch. Brings a lot of facets to your ball club.
1 and 2 to Dye. 2 out, none on.
David's just a blue-collar pitcher. I mean, he's got a little cutter, hard fastball, and a big hook, and everything he throws is heavy. And what I mean by that is, like, when you swing the bat and you hit his ball, the ball feels actually heavier than it is.
That'll be out.
Everything about David's a little heavy these days.
See, even his pitches.
You know, I mean, he'll tell you he's got a 60-year-old body, but the difference is he's got a 30-year-old left arm. And I mean, the key to him, to me, has always been that curveball. When he can throw it for a strike, he's going to succeed, and he's done it all night thus far tonight here in the first inning.
It's a ball-peen hammer.
Rip over Wells. Graffinino there. Olerud. And a 3-up, 3-down inning for David Wells. We've played one in Chicago, 2-0 Boston. Chicago, Mark Buehrle working quickly, of course, to Bill Miller. And umpire Bill Miller calls a strike on batter Bill Miller here in inning number 2. 2 strikes, 0-2. Man, talking to him about how quickly Buehrle works, and on his side, David Wells. He goes, "Can you remember when we were in San Francisco? Kirk Reeder, we always got him a lot of runs because we enjoyed fielding for him because it got us back at the plate." And so he understands from both sides of this deal here, quick working Buehrle and the quick working Wells.
You know, one thing too, Mike, we've learned about Bill Miller. I don't think it's just a coincidence that he always end up on a winning team. He's kind of one of those glue guys to the lineup and the defense, huh?
As you said, I mean, he's a great guy to have on the team. Great attitude, hustling all the time.
Creedy, that time smoothly over to Konerko. There's 1 out. Miller gone, working with us on the field and around the dugouts. Aaron Andrews. Good evening, Aaron.
Hey, Boomer. Well, obviously bouncing back. That's what's key for the Boston Red Sox. Trot Nixon put it best. He said, "We are not the same team that came back to beat the New York Yankees in last season's ALCS." He said, "We can't assume just because we did it last season that we can do it again." And Boomer, Trot Nixon telling me we cannot go home 0-2. Guys?
Well, it's an interesting, of course, nobody wants to go home 0-2. Instead, I want to talk to you about then, Mike, what we felt in the Red Sox club. Certainly not uptight, not this team, no way. But as John Olerud steps up, one-time batting champion of the American League, a long way to center, but Aaron Rowan is there to haul it in. 2 outs. What did you notice in there, Sut?
You know, but we've been around in the last couple of years. We saw the Game 7 loss at Yankee Stadium to the Yankees in the ALCS. We saw them win last year. I just saw a different look in their eyes. It's not a scared look. It was a more focused look, like paying attention to detail, because they are really concerned with what they saw with Contreras yesterday. If they lose this game, worst case scenario for the White Sox, Mike, they come back here for Game 5 and they got to face that big guy again.
Yeah, and as you said, I mean, they have come back from amazing deficits in the last 2 years, but you don't want to go to that edge, you know, too many times. You don't want to make that a habit.
No. Tony Graffinino looks at that pitch outside from Buehrle. It's 1-1.
Boomer, we talked about it at dinner last night. I truly think that the team that wins this game will win this series.
Cones look good. Get dessert up here.
Here we go. Here we go. I thought we'd at least get past the second inning.
It's always food here. Chicago. He's there for a strike.
RBIs,
2-2.
steaks, medium well. It's America's heartland. Got a lot of beef here.
Grandma the second to Gucci. Konerko, a 1-2-3 inning for Mark Buehrle. Fans say that's more like it. Heading to the bottom of the second. 2-0 Boston. First here in Chicago, 2-run single by Manny Ramirez in the top of the first, and they lead it 2-0 here, bottom of the second. Mike Piazza and Rick Sutcliffe, Aaron Andrews on the field. I'm Chris Berman. David Wells brought here to win games like this. Look, Schilling is not the same. Pedro is gone. He's a big game pitcher, and this is a big game.
You know, I think one thing, too, we forget about is Derek Lowe and him pitching all of the clinching games for them a year ago. He was a guy that gave them a lot of innings, but you're exactly right. Down the stretch, when they needed it just to get to the postseason, it was David Wells that took the biggest step.
And a big win on Friday night following out that emotional Thursday night win against Toronto. Beat the Yankees on Friday night. At the time, looked like, okay, now Boston cruising toward the division. Of course, to give the Yankees credit, they won the next day, won the division, won last night, but Wells won that big game Friday, which put the Red Sox in a position to get in the postseason.
You know, Mike, we've seen it a lot with guys. Certain people are intimidated by situations, atmospheres like this, and then there's other guys that just absolutely love it.
Well, he's so familiar with that role as well. I mean, he's got so much playoff experience, and it conditions you, that mentality. You thrive on it, and then you turn that into a positive. It almost gets infectious, you know. It's almost like a drug. You need that buzz to get you elevate your game.
Speaking of elevation, Paul Konerko hits it deep to left center field. Back goes Damon, hauls it in at the wall. Konerko almost hit a homer in the first inning yesterday. Hit a solo blast. Has hit 40 home runs 2 straight years, just like Big Pappy, just like Manny Ramirez. That one, not quite.
And as I was saying earlier, with David Wells' heavy ball, that ball got off the barrel a little bit onto the trademark, and Paul was just unable to get that ball out of the ballpark. He hit the ball pretty well, but as I said, when you have a guy who throws that ball and it's got that downward action and that sink and that heaviness to that ball, you got to hit it pretty pure, pretty clean to get it out of the ballpark.
Carl Everett steps up to the alley in left center field. Damon over will cut it off, but Everett aboard with the first White Sox safety of the night. Now we talk about David Wells in the postseason. We said this is his 16th start. Came up a long time ago with those world champion Toronto Blue Jays way back when. Now, Curt Schilling, John Smoltz, David Wells. See, now here's a list you wouldn't quite know he was on. 10-3.
Yeah, you're looking at 10-3, but he's even better in the division series in which he's pitched. 5-1 career this time of the year, and if it goes to a Game 4, Curt Schilling would be on the mound in Boston for Boston.
Here is Aaron Rowan to face the 42 years young David Wells. 6'3", listed 248 from San Diego. I'm just telling you what I read.
Give or take.
Give or take.
Give.
How about Rowan in a 14-2 game, crashing into the wall to try to make a play in the outfield?
Love what Ozzie Guillen said too. You know, he plays like that all the time. It's the only way he knows how to play.
Now back to David Wells, just to give the postseason history. Was a member of the Blue Jays, 92, and they won it all. Pitched postseason with Cincinnati. You forget that. Baltimore, of course, the Yankees, World Series 98. Second tour due to Yankees, not only other postseason, but pitching the World Series in 03. I mean, he's seen a big game or two.
Yeah, and familiar with this park. He was teammates with Mark Buehrle here with the White Sox in 2001.
Up the middle, Renteria will step on second, over to Olerud. Double play. So Wells said, okay, there's a single, we can erase you. 2 innings in the books, 2-0 Red Sox. Top of the third here at U.S. Cellular Field. The Red Sox lead the White Sox 2-0. Now the man that got things started on a ball that seemed to just fool third baseman Joe Creedy. Johnny Damon get a base hit. When Damon gets on, things happen. Didn't get aboard at all yesterday. Nothing happened. Strike one for Mark Buehrle.
Mike, I'm going to set him up here. Watch this, okay? To me, for Boston to be good, Boomer, they need for Johnny to be good.
That's a very good statement.
Good one.
So, here we go.
Put your seatbelt on. Here we go.
No better song than that.
Oh,
Johnny has been good for the Red Sox. That's for
He has.
sure.
He's been good for the last 8 years. He's good again.
Here he is, his second base hit. So the table setter has done just that. He's hoping that as he gets on, the big guys are rolling over Beethoven.
And I love, Boomer, what he said when this series started. He says, my job is to get on base so that it hurts when they get a hit. And that's what he was talking about with what Manny Ramirez did.
Yeah, and you can't drive yourself in every time up. You got to have base runners. It gets the pitcher off balance, gives him a little anxiety, squeezes the ball a little tighter, doesn't quite relax when he's letting that ball go.
I saw an unbelievable number last year on Manny Ramirez. He's horrible hitting with nobody on base. I mean, and you put runners on scoring. .365 his career average against left-hander, over .330 with runners in scoring position. I mean, Manny's not going to miss this game.
And I'll say this too, Rick. I mean, it's because he's in the stretch. The pitcher's in the windup, gives him that extra half a second that he just kind of rears back, gets a little bit more acceleration through the zone. You put him in that stretch, he'll lose a mile or two off his fastball, and that's a big difference.
Exactly, Mike. If we had better stuff going out of the stretch, we wouldn't go to the windup.
And that's why relievers sometimes come in and all the time pitch in the stretch, because they know they're coming in a lot of times with guys on base, so they don't want to get conditioned to the windup. They don't want to get used to it.
And then when you add speed on base like Johnny Damon, then as you said, they got to get a little bit quicker, and usually they do it, Boomer, with their body, which means usually they're going to leave their arm and the baseball behind. It's going to be elevated, and that was a problem Buehrle had on the Renteria at bat the last time.
Renteria taken, thought that certainly missed, but notices Bill Miller, it's 1-2. Damon hadn't had a stolen base since August 19th. He had 4 in the last 4 games of the regular season. There's the pitch again.
Mike, you know it well. I've watched Bill Miller behind home plate the last 7 years now at the big league level. He's more of a pitcher's umpire than a hitter. It's usually a big plate to work with.
Inside, fisted foul by Renteria.
And as we said all along, umpires, you want them to be consistent. You want it to be both sides, because you call one pitch for one team and you call for the other team, and basically, okay, this is what we're dealing with. We got to swing the bats, or we can, shrink the zone a little bit. Consistency is what you want them to strive for.
I love it when an umpire's ears don't work, where they don't hear the crowd and give them what they want. If it's a strike, they call it a strike.
Renteria to center field. Aaron Rowan is there. Damon will go back to first. Rowan squeezes it. 1 out of the Boston third.
Mike, David Ortiz striking out in his last at bat. What do you change? What adjustment does a 300 hitter need to make here?
Well, I think basically you saw that he chased 2 balls out of the strike zone. Just get a strike. You want to hit a strike. That's the first rule of hitting. Don't allow him to get me out of my game. Don't expand the strike zone early. And with 2 strikes, obviously you're going to protect a little bit more, but
try not to get to 2 strikes.
Well, I'm saying if you do, you still realize that he's going to try to expand that strike zone.
Didn't like that call, but like you said, that's the zone we've seen. Strike 1 to Ortiz.
I don't ever want to get to 2 strikes, but if I do, you still got to hit.
148 RBIs, led everybody in the majors.
Oh. What
2
a
strikes quickly, about 20 seconds.
And you know what? I tell you, he gets a lot of credit here. You'll hardly ever see Buehrle shake A.J. Pierzynski off. That is a changeup. I mean, it just completely fooled David Ortiz because of the lack of velocity.
If you watch his hands there, too, it's kind of like what you talk about, Rick, with pitching. If the hands move forward before the body, you're already flat. Your swing is already flat.
So he's just not recognizing it.
Absolutely. You're feeling for the ball. It's what we call we're feeling for the ball. You're not swinging at the bat. You're feeling for the pitch. Get those hands to be back, relaxed, and able to launch through the strike zone.
Ortiz goes the other way. Damon can fly. He'll charge into third base. Ortiz trying to make it a double. Safe. The earth moved around second base as Big Pappy did a belly flop. But what a job by him inside outing it on with 2 strikes.
That Sears Tower might be leaning right now. You're right, but that's how important this ball game is. Look at the swing here, Mike. I mean, he was just going to stay back. He saw it. He threw it where nobody was at, and then all of a sudden he turned on the burners. That is a great piece of sliding, running, hustling on Big Papa.
Just a nice piece of hitting there. And then with the hustle in the second base, that's going to fire your team up. That's going to get the energy going in the dugout and get some momentum, and this is the game of momentum. So
now what the hustle of Ortiz did with the double means another base runner for Boston. Ramirez, who drove in 2 in the first inning, will not have that chance right here. He'll be intentionally walked, and the bases will be loaded for the guy that so proudly wears the C on the front of his jersey, and that would be the catcher, Jason Varitek. We told you, Tech 9 for 20. Well, a fielder's choice now 9 for 21 lifetime off Buehrle. Has done very well against him. Love to do very well here. That's for darn sure. With Boston already up 2-0.
He actually came into play tonight with a slightly higher average off of Buehrle than did Manny Ramirez. But you know what? He's been Manny Ramirez for the last 10 years. I definitely agree with Ozzie Guillen on this move. We'll see now if it works.
In there for a strike.
And as a hitter here, you just want to keep the ball off the ground.
With some air underneath it.
Damon, Ortiz, and Ramirez.
Easier to do that, Mike, going the opposite field or thinking that way unless you get something soft.
Yeah, and it's a lot easier up here, too.
Chopper, and that'll be foul. Damon doing the cartwheel.
Game is a lot easier up here, I'll tell you that much.
You know, right along, when you look at those homers, that to me is the difference. Not a lot of it bad. They could be bleeders, what have you. If he was 1 for 21 without very many strikeouts, he could be hitting the ball hard at people. But when you leave the yard twice, you've had some good swings.
Out of the way. You know, 3 of the 5 Red Sox hits have come on 0-2 counts tonight. Is that Buehrle getting a little, or is it just Boston just focusing even more?
I think it's more mistakes on Buehrle's part right off the bat with Damon. That was just a fastball that was supposed to be down and away. It was up and away, and when it's up, it's going to get hit a little harder.
What you said with him working fast, too, you're going to find yourself 0-2 in a snap and put yourself in the defensive mode. But sometimes you get swings when you're defensive.
He's outside. I'm sorry,
well, I always talked about him being big, but he's not to the point of being embarrassing. Look at this. Clearly, you see, when the catcher brings it back, he too is telling you he knew it was not a strike.
Varitek takes it for ball 2. 2-2. Bases full of Red Sox here in the 3rd.
And that 2-2 pitch is, or the 1-2 pitch, I should say, is a big pitch because now you're 2-2 and he doesn't want to go 3-2. So he may try and give him something to hit here.
Varitek hits it down the line. Foul.
All you got to do is watch the hitter. I don't even look at the umpires. Even when I was on the mound, I just look at the hitter. He's going to let me know. Again, you talked about it. I mean, he makes another mistake here. Look at how elevated that cut fastball is. Boy, a big-time swing, just a little bit quick for the captain.
2-2 pitch again. 1 out, bases loaded. Varitek the other way. Base hit. Damon scores. Everybody moves up 1 base as Dye plays it in quickly. But Boston, with their hitting shoes on tonight, 3-0 lead.
Jason showed right there, I can pull the ball, I can go the other way. Just a great piece of 2-strike hitting. I'm not trying to do too much. The ball was in, I pulled it, the ball was away. I let it travel and just flipped it to right field. Here, I'll take that RBI.
Very quick visit, Don Cooper, the very fine pitching coach, out to the mound to talk with Buehrle as the Red Sox have already tapped him for 6 hits.
Well, we have heard a lot of good things from the pitching staff. As you mentioned, Boomer, about Don Cooper. He's doing something that a lot of other people weren't able to get done. He has turned Contreras around. What he's done down there in the bullpen. We're talking about Cliff Polite. We're talking about Jinx. I mean, this guy, he's working some magic for Ozzie Guillen.
And this is key here, too, for Buehrle, because you want to keep your team within a swing of the bat as close as possible. You don't want to blow this game open early on.
Trot Nixon swinging at the first pitch, chops it foul towards his own dugout. Trot had 2 hits yesterday.
There's a spot here. When Boston struggled there early in September, it was because they were facing a lot of left-handed pitching. Randy Johnson 5-0 this year. Ted Lilly was 3-0 against Boston this year. Left-handed pitchers.
Nixon reaches out. Konerko will now go to Uribe, who has a rocket, but a hustle by Nixon enables Ortiz to score. Now, Konerko had a thought to come home.
That's what he should have done.
Yes, because Ortiz is running.
Well, and he knows it more than anybody. He must not have known it was Ortiz. He must have forgot about that, because you can see his reaction at the end of it. You're clearly not going to get a play. Look at Nixon hustling down the line. Everybody knows that. But when he came up with the baseball, when he secured it, Mikey had plenty of time to go home. That's the tough play right there. But he'd already made up his mind he was going in that direction, and there's no chance to double up anybody on a ball that was not hit any harder than that.
So we have seen the White Sox. I mean, those are two errors of the mind tonight. Maybe the ball, Creedy got fooled out at the start of the game and able Damon to get on. Maybe Konerko could have cut down Ortiz at the plate. Still 4-0, and that ball is hit, but it's going to be foul by Bill Miller.
You know, Boomer, just to finish the thought on left-handed pitchers, Trot Nixon a lot of times in the past didn't play against left-handers.
He has to now.
You know, but when Jay Payton left the club, and when all of a sudden Kapler got hurt, I mean, he's going to be the guy, and that was a productive at-bat right there.
Miller fishing on that one, but more damage done by Boston. 2 runs here in the third, making a 4-0 Red Sox lead. Red Sox scored 2 in the first, 2 in the third to lead the White Sox 4-0. Bottom of the third inning. Terry Francona, graciously, the Red Sox manager, joining us again. And Terry, anybody seeing anything that Buehrle's doing at 0-2? You guys are getting a lot of base hits on 0-2 pitches. Any talk on the dugout about what's going on?
Well, I think the thing we've done is we've gone the opposite way very effectively so far. You know, we all know what Buehrle can do, and if you try to just pull him, you're going to ground into double plays. You're going to make outs on the balls he wants you to. We've done what we're supposed to do so far.
Tito, you've been out a couple of times to talk to home plate umpire Bill Miller. What was that about?
We got a little bit of an issue. I think it's you guys. There's a camera over there by the screen. They're just trying to figure out how to play it. You know, you don't know who it's going to affect, but you don't want the outcome of the game to be ambiguous, so they're just trying to clarify that.
Tito, one of your first managing jobs was in the minor leagues with these White Sox. You had a player named Michael Jordan. How was that?
Well, he's actually an awesome guy. My bet would have been that he'd have rolled over on one of them balls and into a double play.
Even another big fella scoring from third base, Ortiz. Thank you, Terry.
All right, guys, enjoy it.
He's a pleasure to talk to before, during, and after the game.
You know,
a natured fella, and he's done a
heck of a job. Not many come right in and get a World Series championship in year one. Here's yesterday's hitting star, A.J. Pierzynski. 1 pitch, 1 out. You know, Wells's last postseason start of the ALDS was for the Yankees against Minnesota. Pierzynski had 2 hits off from that game. A.J. said, yeah, but they won. Wells's last postseason start at all was that, remember, bad back 1-inning World Series against Florida, had to leave. A little bit different thus far tonight.
Can you imagine how bad that back hurt him for David Wells to come out of a postseason game? I honestly, when I saw that, I thought his career was over with. Obviously, a doctor was able to fix things, get him back on the mound, and he's as good as he's ever thrown right now.
Back is good enough. He's talked about some right knee surgery coming up for him in this offseason.
And as you said too, Rick, I mean, we were talking yesterday, he's the type of guy you want when you have a lead. He's going to get outs, he's going to churn outs, he's going to churn, he's going to keep driving his pitches through the strike zone. Here it is, hit yourself back into the game, not walk guys.
You know, Boomer, you hardly ever get a straight answer out of David Wells, but I honestly think playing for the Yankees and watching Mariano Rivera with that cut, he used to be a 4-seam guy, curveball guy, changeup. He throws a lot of cutters now, and he's come up with a good one.
Now, that was a good one right there to Creedy. 2 up, 2 down here in the third for Chicago.
How about this, Mike? I mean, when you got a guy that has the ability to throw it to both sides of the plate.
And as a hitter, that's tough because you can't protect the whole plate. You're either going to try to zero in on one particular zone, not necessarily a pitch. And when you're able to dominate, at least drive your pitches to both inside and outside, it could be a long night.
Juan Uribe, we saw his power. Number 9 hitter, don't be fooled, a home run yesterday. 3 RBIs. His home run was a 2-run shot, 2 for 4 overall. One thing about David Wells, you're not going to get many free passes. You're going to have to earn it. 21 walks this year, 20 last year, 20 the year before. So basically, guys, In 92 regular season starts the last 3 years, 61 walks. Yikes.
Less than 1 per 9 innings over the last 3 years.
Yeah.
The last time that was done, Christy Mathewson. That's been a while.
Bill Miller flashing the leather at third. Uribe gone. And so are the White Sox. We've played 3. 4-0 Boston. Boston, and Mark Buehrle looks in at, as you call him, Mike Piazza, your teammate, sweet swinging John Olerud. All the way to center field, and Rowan, man, Olerud has been on the ball twice to center field, has nothing to show for it.
Johnny had 2 nice swings at those pitches. Drove the ball to center field, but rolling right there. Johnny, don't try to pull the ball. Just drop the head of the bat on the ball and hit that ball pretty well. Unfortunately, not enough.
Long outs to center field. Olerud. Rowan, one of the fine center fielders, had to make a.
That's one thing that's different
catch
up here, Mike. I'm sure from the catching position you can see the jumps they get to, but well, you can tell when an outfielder takes a great route and gets that good first step. And boy, Rowan has been terrific during this series.
Tony Graffinino, 2-0 to him. Take a look at Aaron Rowan from Oregon. Grew up in California, Southern California. There's Rowan again, patrolling center field, and Graffinino is out. Chris Berman, Rick Sutcliffe, Mike Piazza, Aaron Andrews with you in Chicago. Summer-like temperatures, one more day. This time it's the Red Sox who have gotten off to the big start on the White Sox behind David Wells. And 2 runs in the first, 2 runs in the third for Boston. They lead 4-0. Johnny Damon's been aboard twice, scored twice. Fouls that off, but that really shouldn't be a shock to you. Damon in 2 years has scored, and I'm not even including last postseason, 2 years, 240 runs. 2 tonight.
You know, Boomer, to me, though, what makes him the best leadoff hitter in the game the last 2 years, along with all those runs scored, how about 169 RBIs out of your leadoff man?
Nice play of Gucci. Konerko. Damon robbed for what would have been his 3rd hit of the night. Heading to the bottom of the 4th, 4-0 Red Sox. Chicago a few championships as in 6. Michael Jordan at the game. Well, you said managed by Terry Francona in the minors. Huh?
Well, and also Michael Jordan, when the Philadelphia Phillies thought about hiring Francona as their manager at the big league level, Michael Jordan actually called the Phillies to highly recommend Francona. Well, he did a good job there, and he's done a great job since he took over for Boston.
Top of the order against David Wells here for Chicago in the 4th. Sednick, Iguchi, and Dye. Wells in there with strike 1. David Wells has won 227 games.
You can see by Sednick's reaction on that curveball there, just the action, the buzz. We call it a hissing curveball. It's got a lot of downward bite to it. He actually flinched at that pitch.
Wells 227 wins is 61st all time. That's a few more wins than Hall of Famer Catfish Hunter. It's 2 shy of Louis Tiant. It's 9 shy of Hall of Famer Whitey Ford. Well, to say that he's Hall of Fame, but I mean, you're in some pretty good company right there.
19 years at the big league level, a lot to be said for that. That Terry Francona is only 4 years older than what Boomer is. And he's been done playing for about 20 years. They just, you know, what I love about Boomer is his passion when he's on the hill. He's pretty much aggressive with everything that he does. He's a biker, he's a hunter, he's a surfer, he's a writer, he's a character is what he is.
And that ball is nicely stabbed by Olerud, and look at Wells over to cover. Told you about Olerud's defense, but look at the motor on Boomer.
Mike Piazza, how many times did you see this in New York?
Plenty of times. Watch it jump on this ball. Lay out. Take your time. Feed the Boomer right there. It's a shorter run from the mound to first than from home to first. A lot of people, a lot of guys you know as well as anybody thought that they rushed the throw.
Yep.
And that's the thing you work on in spring training day 1. Give me a good feed.
Not only the wingspan, Mike, you talked about, he's 6'6", whatever he is, to get to that ball, but then he jumps up so quick. Now, instead of being down and flipping it from the side, he gets up, he takes a step in the direction he's going to make the throw. It was an easier play for Boomer.
Gucci looks at ball one. You know, they've seen Olerud White Sox fans are going, not him again. 93, we lost to Toronto, John Olerud first base. 2000, they lost to Seattle, John Olerud at first base. Now they're playing Boston, makes a big play like that. Please, go away.
Well, how about what Boston had to look at last year? When all of a sudden Olerud was with the Yankees and hit that 2-run homer late in the game off Pedro. Game over.
Johnny's got such a steady presence out there. He definitely doesn't get too excited, doesn't get too low. He's just very, very consistent. His attitude, his knowledge of the strike zone.
The comfort zone too, Mike, for an infielder making a throw to him over there. When you got to hurry it or you've got a long throw.
Well, absolutely, because allows you to take more risks, like right here.
Look at Bill Miller, and that did the right thing. Well, Gucci can run. Miller was going to have a long throw anyway. Did well to knock that down. Billy's had an excellent fielding season at third base, but this was a little too hot to handle.
Yeah, he rolled this pitch over here and had a little spin. That spin allowed the ball to jump out of the glove. Action with that heavy pitch and the rollover with the wrists.
Only the second hit tonight. Allowed by David Wells.
Crowd starting to get into it a little bit. How loud would they be right now without the play by Olerud?
Jermaine Dye steps in.
Great block there by Veritek. And as I said, just roll the glove, turn the glove over, and everything else follows. Johnny Roseborough told me that when I was young. You get the glove over. Don't worry about the body. The body follows the hands.
Well, and that comfort zone the infielders have with Olerud. Yeah. Now Boomer Wells has that with Veritek. The double play is still in order.
Die, grounded out to second base his first time up, 1-1.
So much easier, Mike, like you said earlier, for a left-hander to shut down the running game of the White Sox. You're looking at him there at first base. He went with a big leg kick like he was going to rear back and throw it hard, threw a changeup, and completely fooled Jermaine Dye.
And to steal a base on a left-handed pitcher, you have to go first move. You can't wait and wait for him to deliver the ball to home because you're not going to get a jump.
You got to take a chance, and down 4-0. Ozzie again. You don't need a manager right now.
Gucci with 15 stolen bases this year. 6 White Sox in double figures. Of course, Posednik with 59. Up top to Die, 2-1.
Here's the thing you can't forget. We talked about it yesterday, Boomer. Sure, the Boston Red Sox scored more runs than anybody in baseball again, but the White Sox hit more homers than Boston did this year. They proved it yesterday. They could use a long ball now.
Die at 31 of them during the season. Gets under it. As does Damon in center field. Gucci back to first base. There's 2 out. I hope you enjoy the triple header here on ESPN. Houston 10-5 over Atlanta the first game. Then after us, the Yankees at the Angels. 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. You've seen it was outstanding yesterday. Chacon and Lackey tonight. John and Joe have the call on that. So baseball wall to wall here on ESPN. It's not as good a day as we have here on the network. 3 games, afternoon, evening, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Hitting leader of this team, Paul Konerko, steps in. In there for a strike is David Wells.
And these are one of those situations right here with Konerko where you can afford to try to hit the ball out of the ballpark with 2 outs. Look for a certain pitch. Double play is obviously not in check here, so why not take a swing? Try to get your club back in the ball game here without changing your mechanics too much.
I think David Wells knows that right along with what you think. You see both of those first two pitches away. You know, if he's going to hit it out, make him hit it to the opposite part of the field. Konerko can do that, but he would much prefer something in or something soft that he can pull down the line.
And it's tough as a hitter where you know the only thing you're trying to do is the one thing he's trying to not let you do. So it is a little mental sort of battle right here, a little mental judo.
Foul. Now in game one, Konerko almost homered in the first, and then bang, 40 during the regular season. This one was gone solo yesterday. Grew up in New England, born in Cranston, grew up in Cranston, Rhode Island till he was 6, and moved down to the Norwich, Connecticut area till he was 11 before moving to Arizona. His dad was a Yankee fan, so that blew that story when I talked to him about it. Out of play.
So tough here with 2 strikes with David Wells. I mean, ball in, ball away, ball in, ball away, double up in. That's he's trying to keep you off balance, get you in the defensive mode.
Konerko's had a lot of success against Boston this year. He had 4 homers during the regular season. They only played 7 games, 1 yesterday.
And hitting and pitching are comfort, and he tries to get you feeling uncomfortable.
String of that unsuccessfully, 2-2 Konerko.
I think that's the first curveball that he's missed the strike zone with, or thereabouts, that one of the White Sox didn't swing at.
That backed up on him just a little bit. Cement mixer.
Here's where he's so good, though, because he knows what he did. He got out in front of it. He's got to wait to let his arm catch up. If he wants to throw it again, he'll stay back.
To center field a long way. Crowd thinks he's got it, but Damon says, no, I do.
Using the big part of the park, Boomer. That's the reason it stayed in the yard.
4-0 Red Sox. Back in Chi-Town. The White Sox had 14 runs yesterday. You hate to think you used them up, but I think it's more David Wells thus far. As now we begin the 5th inning. 4-0 Boston. 2-3-4 for the Red Sox. Renteria, Ortiz, and Manny Ramirez. Renteria on this one. Back goes Rowan to left center field. Back he goes. And he makes the catch by the wall. How many balls are we going to see hit about 2 steps from going out?
How many times are we going to see Aaron Rowan run something down? 4-0 Boston. It could be a lot more than that without the plays that their center fielder has made. When he crashed into that wall yesterday, you just flat can't hit it any harder. Right there, that ball hung up long enough that he knew once he felt that warning track underneath his feet, he kind of slowed down a little bit, knowing he had plenty of room to catch it.
5 putouts Rowan, 4 putouts Damon, center field. Busy evening out there as David Ortiz, a great job of hitting. Boy, what a big hit he had with the opposite way double with 2 strikes. And he rips this, and playing in right field is Iguchi, and he throws out Konerko. That's the, let's see if you're scoring, that's 9.5 to 3.
You know what I thought he was doing? Mike, I thought he was running to get away from it. Look at him. I mean, it's like, well, let me get out of here. Oh, wait a minute.
He's the rover. You're the rover.
The rover. Right, in Big
Short
Ten
field.
football, what did Michigan use? Right, the Wolfman. Wow. Slow chopper Ramirez. Creedy charges. A 5-pitch inning for Mark Buehrle. Took about a $1.05. Told you, don't go far from the set. You missed the whole game. Bottom of the 5th inning, the Red Sox lead the White Sox 4-0. And joining us now, very nice to do it, is Ozzie Guillen, the manager of the White Sox. And yes, it was your guy on the mound today. It's David Wells. a change of approach, or you know he's not going to put too many on with walks, Oz?
Well, this guy's going to be around the plate. I think 4-run leave now. You know what? Make any mistake, what throw the ball over the plate, make those guys swing the bat.
Ozzy, you talked about the energy in your dugout when your team is able to score first. What do you and your coaching staff do right now to try to get things going?
We got to keep the whip out. You know, I think we just we know that here. I think I go around the dugout, make those guys keep and fight. I think right now everybody's looking to try too hard. I think just go there, take a good at bats, and see what happens.
Big Mark Buehrle, even though you know he's been a horse all year, a little first inning jitters for him.
Well, he's the boy's up, and the change is not working right now. I think his cutter is getting better. But the first inning, every pitcher was up.
Well, hey, you guys certainly have run capability. You got innings to do it. Thank you very much, Oz.
All right, guys.
Ozzie again, it's just so fun to talk to, and his work speaks for himself here in Chicago. Team won 99 games, the most in the American League. And by the way, thanks to Buehrle, who was the starter and winner of the All-Star game, Mike, the White Sox, if they were to advance every round, would have home field advantage because the American League went to the All-Star game. They're home in the World Series. They have the best record in the AL. So,
yeah, and aside from that early start, he's thrown the ball pretty well. Worked quickly, as you noted. But obviously, I mean, offensively, they need to get something going here. They need a spark.
Carl Everett will lead it off here in the fifth against David Wells. Just 2 singles, 2 base hits against Wells thus far for the White Sox. Everett, Rowan, and Przinsky. And there it goes, Carl Everett. He has 2 of the 3 hits tonight. Chicago trying to get back in business here in the fifth. Let's go to Aaron Andrews.
Well, guys, sitting so close to the Red Sox dugout, you can hear a lot of things. David Ortiz, as he was coming back to Hito Iguchi, making that play, kind of turned over his shoulder. Iguchi so deep out there, and he said, hey, we play second base here, not right field. Of course, he made that great play on Ortiz, guys.
That would be Ortiz. Even on a, quote, ground out to right field, he still has a smile on his face, although not completely thrilled. Always in a good mood. Talk about a guy bringing sunshine to the park. You saw Ozzie. There's another guy, David Ortiz. That crowd coming alive a little bit as Aaron Rowan hits this ball down the left field line. Hits the chalk. Manny Ramirez trying to come up with it. Everett being waved home. The White Sox are on the board.
He didn't hit for the power this year that he did a year ago, but you can see the big swing. He didn't get all of it. Got enough of it, Mike, to get it down in the corner, but he has gotten this crowd back into the ball game. I guess that whip for Ozzie Guillen worked again.
And sometimes, too, for Boston, the first out of the inning is the most important. When you get a runner on base with no outs, gives a little bit different dimension to the inning. You get that first out, it kind of takes the wind out of the sails.
You're right. That's the first time they've gotten the leadoff runner on. They tried to in the last inning, but the great play by Olerud.
So single Everett, double Rowan. Now A.J. Przinsky, 2 homers yesterday, fisted foul. Przinsky 3 for 4 with the 3-run shot, the solo home run, and the double.
I think A.J. right here has got to get this base runner to third base with less than 2 outs. Give him an opportunity to get another run in here. This is a very key at bat. Why get 1 when you could get 2?
Away is Wells, 1-1. Przinsky grounded a second in the third inning.
He looked a lot better on that breaking ball than Putsednik did on the one that buckled him.
Well, and again, you know, second time through the lineup, gets the hitters, I don't want to say more comfortable, but just more familiar. We've seen it. We've seen pitches now. You could probably try and pick something out.
Fouled away again, 1-2. The first 10 batters, including him covering first. But the White Sox are a good hitting team. I don't want to say he covered first. That's why he gave up 3 hits, but it's about what it was. Wells has been immense the second half of the season. 9-2 for the Red Sox after the All-Star break. They need him to be immense in the second half of this game here. Slow chopper. He does the job, Mike. Graffinino over to Olerud. Brzezinski, we see him clap his hands.
Yeah, that's
Rowan to third.
That's what we call a productive at bat. No RBI, no base hit. Doesn't matter. I got my base runner to third base with less than 2 outs, give the next guy a chance to drive in, because I still think, as you said, up the middle, they're going to concede this run. Pull that ball on the ground. And you'll watch his team pick him up too. Greet him in the dugout. Nice job. Very unselfish.
Brzezinski trying to fire up the crew. Creedy looking for a fly ball, and that will be the small ball. 2 runs, cutting the deficit in half.
Or a ground ball here. I mean, ground ball, infield's back. Stay away from the corners. Hit the ball in the middle of the field.
One thing we know, too, talking with Ozzie again before the game, they're going to challenge the outfield arms of Boston. It was an easy decision for Joey Cora to send Carl Everett to score that run. He knows they're not going to throw many people out.
These guys are deep. I mean, they don't want to have the extra base hit here. I think they will concede a bloop in front of them. Keep the double play in check.
One on one to Creedy. Side to Creedy.
Talking with Greg Walker before the game, he thought the key was to lay off that cut fastball, Mike, from David Wells. It's not on the plate.
And as you can see, as I said, second time through the lineup, they're starting to narrow their strike zone, their approach a little bit, trying to make them make better pitches. I'm not going to help you out. Don't help them out. That's the buzzword probably going through the dugout.
Yeah, he doesn't strike many people out anymore.
Chop foul. 107 is strikeouts in 184 innings for David Wells.
As you said too, Rick, I mean, you know, this is a great opportunity for a strikeout. If he could reach down and try to strike this guy out, put two outs, and then you need a 2-out base hit, which are golden, as you know.
Oh.
Tough to come by when you need them.
As the only guy who struck out thus far tonight is at the plate. Creedy looking. Up the middle, and that'll get a run in and a base hit. Rowan scores, base hit, Creedy 4-2.
Like you said, Mike, he knew all he had to do was put it in play.
Didn't try to do too much. Dropped the head of the bat on the ball. Got the ball up the middle. And how big does that at bat look by AJ right now, Rick? That's what I'm talking about. He's not going to get any of the credit.
Oh. But he knew what he did.
He knew what he did.
He started applauding for himself.
Cut the lead in half. Get your team back in the game. Listen to this crowd.
And here's a number 9 hitter with power. Homered yesterday, 16 on the regular season, Juan Uribe. Fisted that one, though, foul.
I think this kid could do a lot more offensively if he ever figures out where the strike zone is and when to swing and when not to swing. A lot of power, a lot of potential, but just doesn't always recognize the off-speed pitches.
A Bible hitter. Thou shalt not pass. That's an old term. I'm surprised you didn't hear it. That's old school. I learned that from.
Sit behind the plate thinking of that stuff.
Well, but I'm telling you, as a pitcher and a guy that's been around as long as David Wells has, it's nice to know that, because if you know he's going to swing at pitches out of the zone, and you need it out.
Expand the strike zone early now.
He did right there. 0-2 to Uribe.
Yeah, he really fooled him there. On the first pitch, the slow curveball, Uribe was out in front. And now watch him. All of a sudden, he just goes to the quick pitch. It's just a simple little BP fastball on the outside corner, but knowing that he could throw off his timing.
And as I was saying earlier, I mean, controlling the head of the bat is pitching, controlling the hitter's timing.
Ripped foul.
Billy Miller hugging that line. He caught a line drive just like this in Uribe's first at bat. Just missing down the corner. Mike Everett, the third base umpire, all over it.
I do believe the decibel level is up. We'll do it again.
So was the fastball. And that's where, you know, David Wells 5 years ago, 3 more miles an hour could have gotten that ball by him. Now Boomer's got to figure if he can reach back and get that velocity again, you could go a little bit higher, or does he have to come back with something soft?
Inside, 1-2.
He would have just gotten a little bit more of the plate. I think he might have gotten the out, but the ball was in off the plate, and Uribe jumped to get out of the way of it. You know, there was no way he could swing the bat because he couldn't get his hands out.
Especially with the 0-2 count there. He doesn't want to make a mistake 0-2. You don't want the hitter to get a hit 0-2. So it's risky if you're going to throw a strike.
I always felt like that situation there, Mike, that I want to throw it right down the middle, but because with all of the stuff guys got now, you know, these Sir Lancelots that they let them wear up the home plate. If you come in, I mean, you worked hard to get the count to 0-2. I don't want to give you first base and let you throw your elbow pad out in there. And if you put, I mean, you got to make sure it's up, because if it's belt tie, they can hit it. But if it's up right around the shoulders or above, you can get that strikeout.
And as I was saying earlier, you're changing the hitter's eyes. You're changing his plane a little bit. And you can go back down in the strike zone.
Off speed, Graffinino. Oh, no! Through his legs. Everyone's safe. He's probably thinking, do I have to hurry this to get 2 or just get the out? And then what happens? Neither.
Well, Boomer made the pitch. He got the ground ball that he needed. But the old saying, Mike, you've got to make sure of 1 before you can get 2. He just simply got a little bit excited. It's the playoffs. There's a lot of people that haven't been out there, haven't experienced this. David Wells has. Graffinino has not. And all of a sudden, you've got the go-ahead run now at home plate for Chicago. And it's a guy that hit a home run yesterday.
Scott Podsednik to the plate, 0 for 2. And now a slow walk to the mound for the pitching coach of the Red Sox, Dave Wallace from Waterbury, Connecticut. And just trying to settle things down. And while we do that here, let's move over to SportsCenter 30 at 30 update to the Ravi. Thank you very much. Big situation here with 2 runs home, 2 runners on, and Podsednik at the plate, which just went out against David Wells. 4-2 Boston in the bottom of the 5th. Is there room for Varitek? No.
And it's tough, obviously, in this situation. Boston needs a double play with a guy up there. It's very tough to double up. Yeah, he has to hit the ball firm here. He has to hit the ball hard to give your infield a chance to turn that double play. To be a momentum shift for Boston here.
Wide at third is Bill Miller. He'll grab it. What a big out there. Posednik out, 2 outs.
How many times do you think that's been said during the postseason with David Wells on the mound? His defense completely lets him down. But instead of collapsing and having a mental letdown himself, he just comes right back. He gets another out. Now, here's the bonus out that defensively you have given him. To me, Mike, if you're the Chicago White Sox, you got to make it hurt.
Absolutely. And David there, as you said, stayed composed, knows what he has to do. Throw a hard pitch up in the strike zone, got the pop up. And a guy who can really run.
Tadahito Oguchi, 4-time All-Star in Japan. Rookie of the Year candidate here, 30 years young. Wells wanted to make sure Uribe wasn't thinking about floating. 2 for Boston in the first, 2 for Boston in the third, 2 for Chicago here in the bottom of the 5th. Missed, ball 1.
Now this puts some pressure on Chicago here with a 2-out situation. Drive this run in.
In there for a strike. 1-1.
Well, he can just do it at will. He's been so good for so long, being able to just drop that breaking ball into the strike zone. Behind in the count.
That ball is so hard to hit as well because it's traveling through the strike zone and down through the strike zone. So it's almost like 2 different angles.
Driven long and hard to left field. Good! Give any team, certainly a good team like the White Sox, extra outs, it's going to kill you. Oguchi goes yard. And what a 5th for the White Sox. They've grabbed the lead all at once. Another 3-run homer.
And that's the replay. In the replay, as you see, the risky run with doubling up on pitches, whether that be a curveball or a fastball. You showed the hitter a curveball before. You come back with a second curveball, and you got his eyes adjusted to the pitch. What did we say about 2-out knocks?
Oh, rare.
Big 2-out knocks.
2 3-run homers yesterday for the White Sox and 1 resounding one here tonight.
I was again saying yesterday that if Oguchi were not in the second spot in his lineup, he said he could hit 30 home runs. But like he did in Oguchi's first at bat, he put the bunt on. He has him hit and run. He takes the bat away from him a lot because he can handle it.
What could have been 2, but certainly 1 for Tony Graffinino has turned into a nightmare. You just want to go somewhere to hide. He'll have his chance at the plate and in the field, but game has changed in a heartbeat.
Well, even though, you know, it's cost him the 3 runs, Boomer, the biggest problem right now is that the inning is not over. David Wells has already thrown at least 15 more pitches than he should have had thrown. He's not going to throw a complete game now tonight because of the defensive problem.
29 pitches this inning, Sut. Number 30 is a good one on Jermaine Dye, but a 4-0 deficit has turned into a 5-4 White Sox lead. Hall of Famer Pudge Fisk, who excelled for both these White Sox and obviously before that the Boston Red Sox. White Sox with a 5 spot in the 5th, and now Boston coming up trailing for the first time tonight. Varitek, Nixon, and Miller against a man that in 5 years and a little bit. Whoa, and here's Varitek slugging it to left. A nice play out there by Podsednik on a ball that could have gone flying, and look at that throw. Varitek with a sharp single that could have been more. So here comes Boston.
Mike, he can swing it from the left side, but boy, does he look locked in right-handed again tonight.
Tommy Hawkins right there. High pitch. But Tommy Hawkins.
I'm appearing at a theater near you. Trot Nixon up 0 for 2. Buehrle, I started to say Buehrle became a full-timer here in 01. So 5 full years and a little bit with the White Sox. 85 and 53. Now he's pitching with the lead.
A little bit of that cat and mouse game too here, Mike. Trot Nixon wants to get a ball he can pull into that hole. I remember a long time ago, Don Zimmer, a base hit in this situation here, you only got first and second if you can pull it. We look at the bullpen down there with Polite, Marte up. They've got the lead. Those are guys that pitch with the lead a lot. But if you can pull it here, the opportunity to have first and third and nobody out.
Late work the inning last night. That bullpen is outstanding. But here one thing, this is no surprise that here goes Buehrle into the 6th. We'll talk about that in a moment. It would be news if he doesn't go 6. Only happened twice. One was the last start of the year, when that was a different story, and one he was ejected this year in the 6th inning.
How about that? That's some kind of number there. 49 straight starts.
Yep.
That he went 6 innings or more. That's a horse.
That's the 4th from May 11th, 04 to July 26, 05. 6 or more. Longest since Steve Carlton of the Phillies, 79-82.
Well, Rick, how important is here? It is here as a pitcher. Get your team back in the dugout. They're hot. Yeah. Swinging the bats.
And Buehrle's done that for a long time. Nobody's thrown more innings than him, and the reason you do that is because he's got the ability with that changeup and cutter to throw one pitch and get 2 outs. He wants a double play right now.
Yeah, that's why this is it's a key inning, because I want to get my offense back. These guys are swinging the bats for me. Let me get them back to work.
Ripped by Nixon to right field, coming on his die. He's there. And very quickly back to first is Varitek. 2 sharply hit balls, but that one and out. 1 gone here in the 6th to Aaron Andrews. Aaron?
Well, Boomer, obviously Tahito Oguchi putting the White Sox up 5-4. Ozzie Guillen telling us yesterday he was the player I always wanted for this team, and then he said he is the best player I have on this team. He's the kind of guy that gets it all done. We just saw it in the last inning. He certainly does, guys.
We got it done in a loud way. 3-run home run Oguchi, and that's why the White Sox lead it. Here's Bill Miller. 0 for 6 thus far in the series.
Right along, Boomer, with what Aaron's saying, Mike, I think Ozzie Guillen again and his staff deserves a lot of credit. Oguchi here for the first year to make him comfortable, to help him make that adjustment to where he puts up the numbers that he has. Not everybody makes that adjustment.
Hit in the air. Dye calling everybody off in short right field, and Jermaine makes the play, and there's 2 outs.
This kid has a chance to get a lot better, that being Oguchi. He hit .333 last year in Japan. The year before that, he hit .340, just under .280 this year. You got to figure, Mike, that number will go up next year.
Yeah, as he gets more comfortable with the league, gets more comfortable with the pitching, knows what they're trying to do with him.
We've seen guys a lot in the past that have changed leagues, Boomer, and struggled, particularly the first half.
Changed cultures.
Yeah.
Here's John Olerud, who has hit 2 ropes to center field that Rowan has pulled in right in front of the wall.
Johnny's seeing the ball pretty well right here. So
Buehrle snapped that one off on him at 0-2.
That's another thing that happens up here a lot, Mike. As soon as you say something like that, all of a sudden Buehrle gets filthy.
Well, Buehrle knows it, so let me throw you something inside, try to speed you up a little bit, try to get you off your game because you're seeing my pitches over the plate. So let me give you a little change of address.
No question that the crowd called it a strike. Miller at home plate said not so fast. So let's wait another 12 seconds and let Buehrle throw another pitch. 2-2.
Shows the patience there by Johnny Oler. I mean, taking 2 tough pitches with 2 strikes.
Now you got to forget about that strikeout if you're Buehrle. Just get that out, and like you said, Mike, let that offense go back to work.
Up the middle, Buehrle has it. To Konerko, Boston's gone. Heading to the bottom of the 6th there in Chicago. The White Sox playing with the lead, 5-4. Tadahito Iguchi 3-run home run capped off a 5-run 5th. Boy, it's White Sox like to score runs in 5, that's for sure. One less would be 4, which leads me to this. They did not know Roger Bannister when they said they had no way you could break that barrier. The inspirational story of Bannister's quest to break the 4-minute mile. 4 minutes on ESPN2 original movie Thursday at 7 tomorrow night, 7 Eastern on ESPN2. Enjoy it. It's an excellent one, and it's a great story. An excellent history lesson for those a little bit younger than, well, even our age. So the White Sox, who hit 8 in inning number 5, now start Konerko, Everett, and Rowan. Against David Wells. Wells, who was out there for an extra out, the ball through the legs of Tony Graffinino, who's been so solid since he came over from Kansas City. Wow, the extra out, you saw what happened. So now Boomer.
Potentially 2 outs. Double play.
Potentially 2, although it was slow, can't assume it. He wasn't sure. That's probably what led him to the trouble, Mike.
You know, Boomer's so good at it, though, as the good ones are. When something like that happens, you don't care. All you do is look at the scoreboard, Mike, and you're down 1 run. That's all that matters. Nothing else. Earned, unearned, who cares?
And as I said, you know, the best of the best pitchers, keep your team within 1 swing of the bat. That's all you want to do.
Chopped foul. You know, we're sitting up here in the White Sox, and they're scoring all these runs yesterday in this 5-run inning. Just a shout out to 2 of my favorites in our business. They were favorites of mine when they played, and they're great in the booth. And one would be, of course, the Hawk. Ken Harrelson, the voice of these White Sox. I know he's watching at home in Florida. I know the fans wish he was calling it. I'm doing my best. We love the Hawk even back in his playing days, that's for sure. And, of course, they love this guy here. That's Paul Konerko with a base hit. So Coco starts them out with a base hit here in the 6th.
Activity there.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about him. This is
very special.
Jonathan Papelbon, who in July was pitching in Double-A, 24 years of age, as was the 24-year-old now closer for the White Sox, Bobby Jenks. July 1st was pitching in Double-A. These 2 24-year-olds may play a huge role in this series. We got 2. Well, Buehrle's not a veteran, but he's been around lefty. Wells, a 42-year-old lefty, but 2 24-year-olds. Keep those names in mind this week.
Well, no question, Boomer. If the score stays like this, we'll see both of them tonight. There's Jinx down there. Papelbon. He has been compared to Kerry Wood by a lot of his teammates.
It's the playoffs. Who cares? You're a rookie. You wear that.
I know. I had one worse than that. It's, you know, you only have to wear it for a year, though. And this kid's one of the best. I mean, they purposely put his locker right by Mike Timlin's. Timlin picks on him a little bit. They have some fun, but you know what? The kid's able to learn from the closer, Mike Timlin, as well.
And you know as well as anybody, right? I mean, when they're picking on you, they like you.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Yep.
Carl Everett is 2 for 2 tonight. Showing bunt. For the other shout out, I just want to say on the other side of the story, he is a fine second baseman, but he is a cult hero in Boston. That would be Jerry Remy, watching back in probably Missing Studios tonight. So the Hawk and the Rem Dog, we hope we're making you smile a little bit. You're great at it. We've watched you all year and all the years.
I think one smiled a little bit more than the other.
Yes, sir. Renteria, Graffinino. He turns it to Olerud. So that one felt a little better for Tony. Wells, another double play ball.
I was a little bit surprised when Carl Everett turned around to sacrifice bunt on the first pitch that they didn't stick with it. I mean, they led the American League, Mike, in sacrifice bunts. And you mentioned it in the pregame. You know, Ozzie Guillen talking about, hey, we're not going to hit 5 home runs in every ball. We need to manufacture runs.
Bases clear, 2 out for Aaron Rowan. And how about the story we heard today? Well, visiting with Ozzie Guillen and the general manager, Ken Williams, is in there and saying, you know, we talked about Rowan going into the wall yesterday as a 14-2. He said, you know what? When Rowan came up, he ran so hard in the wall, and our outfield coach at the time, Gary Pettis, said he didn't want to put his hand out. He didn't want to listen to how I say stop before the wall. He's going hard into it. And so Ken Williams said to Jerry Reinsdorf, we need to put extra padding from the left center field gap to the right center field gap. 2 days later, there was padding. Rowan hasn't changed a thing.
With the way he plays center field, I'm sure that's a check that Mr. Reinsdorf doesn't mind writing.
No, he doesn't. That's for sure. Here's Varitek. And so Wells settling down. White Sox are gone in the 6th. Big finish here. 5-4 White Sox. Boston fans that are here had their stretch. Another 5 spot for the White Sox. First inning in game 1, the 5th inning in game 2, they lead 5-4. Now, the 38th round pick in 1998, almost as far back as you were, Mike. Mark Buehrle made it to the majors in a year and a half, has the lead, and in one pitch he gets Tony Graffinino to bounce out to third base. Joe Creedy. And he is saying, Graffinino, boy, nobody wanted to base it more than Tony after this play, which could have been 2, but certainly was 1. And that allowed the extra out, which never came until after Iguchi hit the 3-run home run.
You know, I think right along, sure, you know, Graffinino had to play that he's going to make most of the time, but you can't take any of the credit away from what Iguchi did. Wells had so much success with the curveball, Mike, it's almost like he looked for it, he got it, and he gave them the lead.
And he didn't miss it.
Johnny Damon, who got on the first 2 times with singles and scored both times at 2 for 3, but very quickly in a hole 0-2. So 3 pitches. Here's an out, and here's an 0-2 count.
Yeah, and very quickly when Buehrle took the mound, so did a couple of people down in the White Sox bullpen.
Chopper wide at first. Lynn Jones handles it, the first base coach.
You look at Polite up there again. You got Marte. They are good to go. I'd be really surprised if Ozzie let Buehrle face anybody that could give Boston the lead. Somebody gets on, I got a feeling he's gone.
Well, Damon and or Renteria get going. Here come the big boys, Ortiz and Ramirez. Ramirez was, well, not a ball taste, but the game's pretty good.
Staying with the food theme here.
Spitball's illegal?
I don't think baseball.
Aren't they illegal? Burley Grimes is not here anymore, is he?
That's such a great shot. I mean, you think about baseball, Boomer, and the attendance this year, an all-time high for a single season.
AJ here, as I said, with the glove.
Ooh.
Ouch.
Ooh.
I don't think it hit the glove.
No.
It hit the knee.
Ripped by Damon. Konerko stops it, takes it himself. And Johnny's been on the ball, but Konerko makes that play. 2 outs. Fans, join Major League Baseball in our efforts to rebuild the Gulf Coast. Support Habitat for Humanity by calling 1-800-HABITAT, logging onto MLB.com or Habitat.org. 2 outs, bases clear. Edgar Renteria doubled and scored on Ramirez's 2-run single in the first. Rips this one off the chest of Creedy. And Renteria is on. So shots off Konerko, shot off Renteria. Pad save by Brzezinski. Can you tell it's opening night of hockey? Wow.
Edgar here ripping this ball off the sternum. And it just did not stay close enough where he could throw him out. Edgar running very well.
Really shaking his head.
It doesn't hurt right now, but tomorrow morning, it's going to hurt.
Well, it'll hurt more. Big Papi, David Ortiz, comes through. The shift on. And Ozzie playing it a little differently with runner on. Usually the shortstop Uribe is right behind second base, but with 2 outs, to heck with it. Uribe is on the second base side, and the last ball hit was to Iguchi. All those steps on the outfield grass. Before that, Ortiz went down the left field line with a double.
I'm just a little bit surprised right now that Buehrle's still out there. He's not closed in on 100 pitches yet, but you look at the numbers for Boston that come from behind wins. You got a guy that's starting to fatigue. You look at the 4th time around.
And that again is to the second baseman turned outfielder Iguchi. Perfectly played by the White Sox. Ortiz grounds out. The Red Sox are gone. 7th inning stretches. And tomorrow, RBI is your code word. Listen to the Mike and Mike show at ESPN Radio. They announce the winner tomorrow morning. David Wells, Mark Buehrle have gone the route thus far as we are in the bottom of the 7th inning. 4-0 Boston lead is dissipated into a 5-4 White Sox lead. Ramirez will lead off the 8th. But after that, the heavy metal of the Red Sox order, although it's chock full of trouble, it'll be gone unless Boston gets moving. Brzezinski, Creedy, Uribe against David Wells. 10-3 lifetime postseason record in jeopardy. To center field is Damon. 1 out here in the 7th. And just a moment ago, Nerko made the play. And okay, we're haven't had a chance to see you, big fella, out there on the outfield grass. I love you, man.
I was talking with A.J. Brzezinski before the game, Mike, and he was saying, I said, who runs this clubhouse? And he said, there's no question. Mark Buehrle and Paul Konerko. He said they're total professionals. You know, they're not real talkative. He says, we got a manager that takes care of the talking, but they take care of the leadership. That was leadership right there, that hug.
And I wonder if that's by design. I mean, with Buehrle, you know, I'll take the pitching staff. I'll work with the pitchers. Konerko, I'll work with the everyday guys, the offense, and kind of spread out the responsibility, or at least the motivating a little bit.
Well, they've delivered 100 wins and counting this far. Rip it foul by Joe Creedy.
Don't need a whole lot of help with that motivation department because, I mean, again, Boomer's just been perfect this year. I thought he might have gone to the bullpen with Buehrle getting a little bit tired. You've got Marte. He's got 2 great left-handers in his pen, but you know what? Everything he has done this year has been perfect.
Yeah, but you know what else he's got? He's got a pretty good starter in Buehrle. This is his 3rd sharp outing after a second half, which, look, you're not going to be 10-1 for 3 months all the time. But this is his 3rd sharp outing. And there's the young man we spoke about, Bobby Jenks, 24 years of age. All of a sudden, the closer, with Dustin Hermanson's back acting up, he's around in case. Damon is there. How many putouts in center field tonight? It's like a jet stream out there.
Well, there's going to be a lot of putouts because, like we said in the beginning, these guys throw strikes. And if you make the plays behind them defensively, instead of coming out behind in the game, David Wells would be coming out with the lead. But the defense let him down. He is really disappointed right now.
Well, Terry Francona out to make a switch. And you saw Jenks. Now you're going to see Papelbon coming in. David Wells, the one-time White Sox, gone. All right, Robbie, thank you. Jonathan Papelbon in to pitch. As David Wells pitched well, but the extra out. 3-run homer of Iguchi. He leaves on the short end thus far of a 5-4 score. Papelbon was in Double-A Portland until July 4th when he went to Triple-A Pawtucket. He was called up to make a start in July, then went back down to Triple-A for a little while. 2 more starts in August, then 14 relief appearances, and now he is the most important, for Terry Francona, most important late guy in tight games other than the closer, Mike Timlin. How about that as a rush job?
He's a good-looking kid, man. I mean, they got it. The only decision they've got to make next year, they haven't figured out whether they're going to start him or whether they're going to have him in the bullpen. But composure, stuff, It's all there, Mike.
It looks pretty electric.
Fouled away. He's a 4th-round pick just 2 years ago in 2003. 6'4", 230 from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. As we said, 24 years of age. And oddly enough, the right-handers did some hitting on him. The left-handers did not.
These are the guys coming out of the bullpen that you just dread facing as hitters. Like, you just know everything is firm, everything is hard, cutting, sinking.
But as we said, right-handers hit him much better than left-handers. Right-handers hitting .319, lefties .190, and a ringing hit by Uribe. Now our pitching summary brought to you by Yellow Book. 2 left-handers pitched well. Certainly David Wells had it going for him until that 5-run 5th inning. Only 2 of the 5 runs earned. Mark Buehrle gave up 2 in the 1st, 2 in the 3rd, but boy, he settled right in. And Buehrle stands to win it the way we are right now.
You know, Boom, I think right along what Mike said earlier about, you know, you just keep them within 1 swing of the bat, and you got a chance to win the ball game. Buehrle really settled down.
Miller with a nice play on Podsednik very quickly to Olerud. Papelbon comes in. The Red Sox get out of the 7th. Manny going to lead it off in a 1-run game. With Mike Piazza, Aaron Andrews with you here in the top of the 8th. The White Sox lead 5-4. Mark Buehrle has pitched him this far, and okay, you're 24 years of old. You're Bobby Jenks. You were pitching in Double-A Birmingham until July 5th. Now you're the closer. You're going to come in for your first postseason appearance, and you're going to face, with a 1-run lead in the top of the 8th, Manny Ramirez with 45 home runs. Hello.
Yeah, but Mike, you see what he's facing him with? 98 at the knees on the outside corner.
And just that disposition of a closer, sometimes you just want him to say, hey, the difference is we get more meal money up here. Have the same attitude. Not know who you're pitching to.
Interesting. I want to ask you this. Like we said, Papelbon, hard-throwing righty, had trouble with right-handers and did well against lefties. Right-hand hitters against Jenks, 298. Lefties, 105. What would that be?
Just making mistakes, Boomer, with that breaking ball, as did Papelbon. He hung a slider. What'd you call it when it just spins?
It just kind of stays there. It doesn't do much. And I think it's easier for a right-handed pitcher, especially for someone to come in on left-handed hitters, because he's thrown across his body. He could close up a little bit. Coming in on right-handed hitters, you do have a little bit of fear you're going to hit him.
And for a right-handed pitcher, Mike, you can change speeds away to a left-handed hitter. You can't to a right-hander.
You can get some more tilt off the table.
Yep.
Swung on a miss by Ramirez. It's 2-2. Power versus power. And there's the closer for much of the year, Dustin Kermanson. And of course, we saw Neil Kotz yesterday getting out the lefty.
That was a 97-mile-an-hour fastball up in the zone. Very difficult to hit. You really have to get on top of that pitch.
Rip to center field, but Rowan is there. The 12th putout in center field tonight. A huge out for the youngster Jenks. 1 gone in the Boston 8th.
Well, Jenks here has great stuff, but Manny's a great hitter. Manny stayed back and just fastball down. Let me just drop the bat on the ball there. Hit the ball firm to center field. Didn't get enough under it to get it out of the ballpark, but still, I mean, it was a nice swing.
Now here's Jason.
Much more.
All right, Mike, here's Jason Varitek, 2 for 3, 2 sharp singles. You saw the brief bio on Jenks. More on him after this pitch. Little chopper. Konerko. Does Jenks get over? Yeah. Very cool, calm, and collected.
Boomer, exactly. He turned it into an easy play. Look at him go as quick as he could. Now he holds up a little bit. Nice big target for Konerko. But by him busting it the first 30 feet, then it was an easy play. If you try to time that, it could be a lot tougher.
This is Trotnick's in 0 for 3. Bobby Jenks, 6'3", 270. 5th round pick to the Angels in 2000. Was a starter, had a lot of right elbow trouble in his years in the minors. And then he was waived by the Angels in December last year. Picked up by the White Sox. Hey, we're going to make you a reliever. He goes to Double-A Birmingham. He does just that. Pitches down there. 35 appearances with 19 saves. You're in the bigs on July 5th. He's in the bigs right now. What a fast track, huh? From starter to release to a team that's won 99 plus 1 games thus far, and you're the closer.
And sometimes for a team to win, you need a story like that. You need a piece of the puzzle that just comes out of nowhere. Well, not necessarily out of nowhere, but just a kid with a lot of talent who's figured it out.
But Nixon hits one down the line.
What did we say about one swing of the bat?
Both teams are right there.
Yeah, they are.
To hit 97, you got to turn up the fan a little bit, as we said, and just a little in front of that pitch.
Sellout crowd on their feet here in Chicago.
Equally as good as his fastball, he's got a devastating overhand curveball. He hasn't thrown one for a strike yet, but when he gets the 2 of those going, he is almost unhittable.
Up top, 2-2. Jenks this year, 32 games with the White Sox. 1-0, 2.75 ERA with 6 saves. 50 Ks in 39 1/3 innings here in the bigs. Nixon has worked him to a full count. Now, you had the feeling this would be a gut wrencher eventually in some way, shape, or form. Bill Miller on deck.
And as we said, Boston not trying to help him out, not trying to go out of the strike zone. Make him pitch, make him throw strikes.
So Nixon, the tying run on, and here's Bill Miller. Billy looking for his first hit of this series. He's 0 for 7.
That happens so many times with a young pitcher, where you give up a ball that was hit hard, it almost was a home run, tied the game, just went foul, and then you pitch away from contact. Now you make a mistake here, and you not only give up the tying run, but it could be the go-ahead run for Terry Francona.
And when I face a guy who's got great stuff but throws really hard, I realize he's doing a lot of the work. So I don't necessarily have to put a big swing on the ball. I just want to try and get the barrel to the ball. And it's so much easier said than done.
Here's a guy who would understand that. In there for a strike to Miller.
Because your natural tendency is to swing harder. I got to swing harder, but you don't necessarily want to do that here. Dave Parker used to say, I just want to tap the ball.
That'll be out of play.
Boomer, here's to me the difference too with Boston and the bench that they had last year as opposed to now. If you got Dave Roberts, big slow leg kick that Jenks has got, to me, I'm going to put Roberts in there, steal second, and take the pressure off of Billy Miller of hitting a double or a homer. Now just get a single, as you did off Mariano Rivera, to tie it up.
Ball missed away, 1-2.
Pretty good pitch.
There's that big hook you talked about. Just can't find the release point on that pitch. But with 2 strikes, does not want to make a mistake with it.
Oh, they wanted it again. Miller with a good eye. And
which Bill Miller are you talking about?
Both Bill Millers, the home plate umpire and the man at the plate.
Look at K-zone. Look at how far this ball moves. Brzezinski tries to help it a little bit. If it would have been a strike, the inning would have been over.
Rip, but again, they're positioned perfectly. It's a Gucci to Konerko, and the Red Sox are gone here in the 8th. Heading to the bottom of the 8th in Chicago, 5-4 White Sox. Ravi, thank you. He won't get Derek Jeter, certainly not out in Anaheim. The ovation that this leadoff man at the bottom of the 8th just got. Tadahito Oguchi, 30 years of age from Tokyo. His first year here with the White Sox in the bigs here in the States. And his 3-run homer gave the White Sox their 5-4 lead right at John Olerud. So Iguchi is gone. His home run came in the 5th. After Tony Graffinino on potentially a double play ball on a bullet by Uribe. 2 batters later with the extra out, the 3-run shot of Gucci, and a 4-0 Red Sox lead was gone. Graffinino will have a chance to make amends. He's due to hit second in the Boston ninth. 8-9-1 due up for the Red Sox. If you're looking at it, Olerud, Graffinino, and Damon.
Been kind of a tale of 2 second basemen tonight. One real good and one not as good.
Jermaine Dye looking for his first hit of the series. Has it. Let's check out who's left on the bench, presented by ING for Boston. Of course, we don't see Kevin Millar there, and he certainly would be the one that you might think if a pinch hit, although I don't think so. Eubanks is left on the bench. Jerry Franklin will probably go with his guys, although remember now, Olerud's been on the ball tonight. Here's Konerko, who might have his own thoughts about this remaining a 1-run game.
Yeah, it's a great situation here for Paulie.
Meanwhile, how about the Papelbon? Him pressed into his first postseason, and Konerko hits it to center field, but again, the center fielder has enough room to make the grab. Damon has it. Dive back to first.
I don't think Paulie there was choking up and trying to go to right field. I think he was trying.
He turned the fan up.
Yeah, he was trying to get a little insurance. Let me reach, get that knee up. Oh, and it just cut under the ball.
He's
Good
had
swing.
such a good, you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, he's made 3 outs, all of them on fly balls to Damon. He's had a base hit.
And that's what your manager wants. I mean, go ahead, swing, let it go. Hit it out of the ballpark.
And I think what you want right now, you want to manufacture another run.
Yeah.
I think Jermaine Dye will have the green light. If he can get a jump, go ahead and try to run.
Papelbon keeping an eye on Dye, who can move for a big night. So Papelbon has faced 5 White Sox, 2 of them single.
And Rick, as you said, I mean, you could afford to be more aggressive when you're ahead, not when you're behind. You never want to run yourself out of an inning.
Everett's aggressive, but he just gets under this one. A rainmaker to right. Nixon is there, and we go to the ninth. Big Bobby trying to hold a 5-4. Red Sox score and starting the ninth against Bobby Jenks. 24-year-old closer trying to do it the old-fashioned way. A 2-inning close. Veteran John Olerud, who has nothing to show for 2 hard-hit balls to center field and a grounder back to the pitcher. And on deck is Tony Graffinino, who will have a chance. He made the most of a chance that he had earlier this year against this man, Bobby Jenks. Graffinino had a 3-run homer on September 5th off Jenks. It was a 5-3 loss. Meanwhile, Jenks deals to Olerud. It's 1-1. Told you that Jenks much tougher on left-handers than he is right-handers. 105 lefties hitting him. Tapper, Olerud. Over to Konerko, 1 out in the ninth.
Tell you what, he looks pretty composed, doesn't he?
And as we said earlier, sometimes the first out of the inning is the biggest out of the inning.
Yep.
Especially for a closer.
And now if there's ever a guy that wants some sort of base hit, like that home run that he hit we talked about last month in that makeup gay on Labor Day at Fenway Park, it would be Tony Graffinino.
I think if he could just get on base here,
Yep.
that would be a moral victory for Tone. Give your team a chance. This is where Johnny can hit an extra base hit. Tony runs pretty well. Score on a double.
Side to Graffinino, 2-0.
He's getting a little bit out of sorts mechanically, that being Jenks. I saw you motion that too. He's starting to really fly open with that front side. You drag that arm behind. You lose velocity and you lose your location.
Cox the lefty up. Hermanson is already warm. Taken all the way. Graffinino, strike one. 2-1.
It's almost like he threw a little cutter there.
Yeah.
Probably some late movement coming back to that inside corner.
And again, he probably subtract a little bit, get that ball back in the strike zone. The hitter gives him an advantage.
Ripped by Graffinino to the left center field gap. Over quickly and sliding is Podsednik. Graffinino trying for two. Safe.
Good for him. Good for Tony, man.
How about that?
What a great guy. He's one of all of our favorites.
Oh,
and
man,
nobody feeling worse than he does right now. Mike, that's a pretty good little swing.
nice little swing, just nice short. Just, as I said, dropped the head of the bat on the ball. Aggressive here, taking the extra base, getting into scoring position.
And how about not even though Podsednik gets over there, I'm going for two, says Graffinino.
I'm smelling it right here. I got to get to second base. I got to get in scoring position, try to tie this game up.
Now here's one of the Red Sox best, Johnny Damon, with the tying run at second base here in the ninth. Jenks being summoned from Double-A to try to get a 2-inning postseason save. Swung and missed by Damon. Of course, summoned 3 months ago from Double-A, but you talk about where am I?
Well, how far has his stock risen, too, with Ozzie Guillen? I mean, he goes to him in the 8th instead of the other options that he has had. You got a left-handed hitter. They're not going to pinch hit for him. He's got a left-handed reliever ready, but no.
Toto, we're not in Kansas anymore. Up top, Damon, 1-1.
I remember Walter Alston, a great Dodger manager many years ago, upset over a one-run loss, saying that it was his fault. Talking about in a one-run game, one manager or the other could have done something different to change the outcome. A 2- or 3-run game, usually it's a starting pitcher or the other. 4 runs or more offensively, somebody did some.
Walt Alston would have loved the job Ozzie Guillen did, because in one-run games this year, the White Sox 35-18.
That's an unbelievable record for a guy that never managed anywhere before. Just his second year at the big league level to be pushing all the right buttons.
Three and two.
And a great training tool for your staff, because you're in one-run games. There's always pressure every game. You always have the tying run at the plate, so you know that it's going to give your bullpen a great sort of experience to get better, and especially when you get to postseason play.
Fisted. Krzinski. 2 outs.
Mike, that's the difference right there between 88 and 98. You got to make up your mind right away if you're going to swing or not. That little late movement. You don't think there's a difference. I mean, don't go out there and get in your car and try it, but 6 miles an hour on a speeding ticket, you'll find out there's a difference.
I think Ozzie wanted to catch that ball himself.
He did. The tying run, Graffinino at second with 2 outs. Edgar Renteria 2 for 4 up. David Ortiz, the RBI leader in the majors, on deck, but will he get a chance at all? To short, Uribe, Konerko, and the Chicago White Sox, who had lost 9 straight home postseason games. Their last win was 1959. Now have 2 in 2 days at home. And the Boston Red Sox, no strangers to having their backs against the wall, are firm up against it right now. Game 3 will be at Fenway at 4 Eastern. Game 4, if necessary, at Fenway. Game 5, if necessary, which sounds good to Boston now, would be back here Sunday.
We talked about it in Game 5. If it goes that far, it'll be Contreras right back here. He dominated in Game 1. But Freddie Garcia has dominated on the road. He's pitching Game 3.
Against Tim Wakefield, who's been great for Boston, but our Chevrolet player of the game, Tadahito Oguchi. In recognition of his outstanding play, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to the Boys and Girls Club of America. A 5-run first in Game 1, a 5-run fifth in Game 2, a 2-0 lead after 2 for the White Sox.
They talked about all the power that the White Sox lost over the winter with Carlos Lee, Maglio Ordonez, Valentin, even Frank Thomas. How about the power they have gained? Podsednik, he went deep. Brzezinski went deep twice yesterday, and Mike Oguchi tonight.
You know what? It's enough power to light up the south side, I can tell you that. Let's head down to the field with Aaron Andrews in a very loud cell. Aaron?
Certainly is. Boomer, thanks. Ozzy, bottom of the 5th, Juan Uribe hits that grounder to Tony Graffinino. What is going through your mind?
Well, I think the balls bounce away. I think when you're in good role, I think when you're playing good, a lot of good things happen to you. And when that happened, I told one of the guys next to me, I said, well, we got to have a chance because that thing don't happen too often.
What does something like that do to your offense?
Well, you know, you keep it up. I think a lot of people, when they scored 4 runs the first couple of innings, a lot of people thought it was down. But, you know, all guys just keep it up and keep the faith, and they have good at-bats.
You told us yesterday, Tadahito Oguchi, the best player on your team. He hits that 3-run blast to put you ahead. Your thoughts as you're watching it?
Well, I watch this kid play every day. Most of the home run he have. You know, it's huge for us. I think this kid come from Japan. He had a lot of home runs. Then other song he come to the state. I put him in the batting second, and he do a tremendous job for me.
You go to Boston now with a 2-0 lead. What's the mindset?
Well, right now we go to the place they're playing real well, but also we play pretty good in the road trip. I think Freddie and Garland have a good chance. The only thing about winning this game, we know we're going to come back to Chicago just in case.
Thanks so much. We'll see you in Boston.
Thank you.
Guys, back up to you.
All right, Aaron, thank you very much. Some things to think about. Chicago, the best road record in the major leagues. Boston, the best home record in the major leagues. And another thought on Ozzy, he said we had to change the team over. We're never going to play 1-run games all the time. That's what they did, son. Hats off to the White Sox as they go to Boston. I don't think they need a plane to make the flight. Oguchi with the 3-run homer. The White Sox win Game 2, 5-4. For Rick Sutcliffe and Mike Piazza and Aaron Andrews and our crew here in Chicago, we thank you for watching. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Once again, the final. The White Sox 5, the Red Sox 4. We got the Yankees and Angels coming up next. How good does it get, Carl Ravitch?